What makes this risk so severe?
Just the power of the particular substances. I kind of say goodbye in my heart to my patients after I see them.
Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. And then later, when it gets dark, we go home.
Katie wanted nothing else.
I got addicted right away, and then I finally found a regular dealer, and I started picking up all the time.
Then later, a movie too, and then home. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on. Just a perfect day. Problems all left alone. Weekend is on a
America has an insatiable appetite for prescription opioids.
Just a perfect day. You made me forget myself. I thought I was someone else, someone good. Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you.
So your doctor almost becomes your best friend. It's your go-to person. It's the only person.
You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on.
So, opioid epidemic.
I know that the opioid epidemic, reaches even this community that we live in Saratoga Springs.
259 million opioid prescriptions are written each year.
It truly is a crisis. It really is. Heroin is becoming increasingly cheaper by the day. Cocaine, even marijuana, these are not drugs that we see a lot of, and particularly in this area. Heroin, however, is the big one.
Opioids can come in a powdered form, they can be injectable, they can be snorted. There's a wide variety of ways to get them into the system. Not specifically heroin, but there are an assortment of opioids that people might abuse or be under the influence of, including morphine, a pain reliever that's commonly used in hospitals.
It's a difficult issue to talk about for a lot of people. Problem is, addiction is a true issue. It's a mental health issue. There's a lot of stigma involved.
Someone dies of an opioid overdose every 19 minutes. Opioid overdose is the most common cause of unintentional death in the U.S.
It's unfortunately the silent killer, and not a lot of people understand the effects that it can really have. For us, we've definitely noticed an uptick in overdoses, particularly heroin. Not everybody has come through, unfortunately. I myself had about 4 different overdoses within the past 6 months.
Buprenorphine and Suboxone are treatments to curb feelings of opioid addiction. Another drug treatment to wean people off of opioids is methadone, but in high enough doses of methadone, the drug can cause opioid overdose and death. There is definitely a need to distribute more Narcan.
Narcan or naloxone is a drug that's used when the respiratory rate is low, when it's suffering due to opioids.
Narcan has been our biggest savior for sure, naloxone.
In many states, first responders and the friends and family of people who are addicted to opioids are now permitted to carry and administer naloxone.
And God, we've never had to give Narcan on campus. We've never responded to an opioid emergency, and I hope we'll keep it that way. But we are prepared. Most recently, I responded to a call on an ambulance.
He had a cardiac arrest. That was my very first time.
The patient was lying unresponsive on the floor.
Constricted pupils, pale and clammy skin, blue fingernails and lips, and deep snoring respirations are all telltale signs of opioid overdose.
Through various signs and symptoms, such as pinpoint pupils, we were able to determine that he was under the influence of severe opioids, although we couldn't determine exactly what. Now, there was some powder on his hand, so that might have been an indication of something. We did give our patient 2 doses of Narcan intranasal, and then the paramedics came and gave a 3rd dose in the patient's arm through an IV.
We gave naloxone intranasally at first by an atomizer to no effect. By the time the medics came, we gave it IM and via IV.
Unfortunately, this wasn't enough to wake the patient up, which is likely due to either a very strong dose of opioids or opioids mixed with something else, which can happen as well. So we brought the patient to the hospital. The patient was still alive when we got there, which is great, thank God. However, I can't say for certain what is in his future.
Unfortunately, the patient was DOA, dead on arrival, about an hour before we got there. If you catch it early enough and you catch the signs and symptoms early enough, naloxone is definitely the way to go. We had an overdose about 2 weeks ago. A guy passed out in his car while driving. Thankfully, neither he nor anybody else got hurt. And by the time the police were on scene, they had to smash a window and used Narcan via the atomizer and instantly woke up. The guy totally came through.
Now, the reason we gave Narcan was actually not just because he was high, but because his respirations were pretty slow. He was not breathing quickly. Now, we're not going to give Narcan to every patient who is overdosing, because they might be breathing fine, and there's actually significant harmful side effects associated with Narcan, so we're not going to give it unless we have to, unless we need to care about the patient's airway because we fear that it might be compromised or that it's going to be compromised in the future. I do happen to know of a lot of cases through the media and through things I've read on the news in which people abuse Narcan and actually just give it to every opioid abuser that they see. And while that might save some lives because some of those patients do have compromised airways, it's actually harming a lot more patients as well, causing them to vomit unnecessarily, possible choking hazards, and so on.
Narcan does not have any side effects unless there are opioids in the body. If opioids are in the body, people feel like they're going through withdrawal and may have increased heart rate, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, and a severe headache. Physicians need to be trained in safe prescribing practices. The average time from prescription of an opioid to an overdose and death is 31 months. It needs to be made crystal clear that opioids usually lead to addiction, which usually leads to overdose and death, and doctors must tell their patients that it is impossible to live a life free of pain.